Natale. Welcome to the Chef's Table series. Today, instead of our latter segments, we are devoting the show to the Feast of the Seven Fishes, a traditional Christmas Eve celebration. We have Executive Chef Victor Paone of Bon Appetit Management Company. He will be making these 4 dishes in front of me. Baccala with arugula, fennel and olives, shrimp scampi, crab cake, and everyone's favorite, linguini with clam sauce. And later on, we'll do a wine segment with Blanchard's Wines and Spirits. So let's bring over Victor and Joe to make these amazing Italian dishes.
Hi, I'm Joe Murphy, co-host of the Chef's Table series, and we are shooting the show tonight. We're back at the Sons of Italy Lodge in Rosendale, and they have been absolutely great to us in hosting us so that we can shoot the show. So I want you to know that the show is produced by the Chef's Table Foundation, a nonprofit developed to produce the show, but we're also now raising money to support U.S. homeless veterans, and we want to give them a grant to go to culinary school. So we appreciate your viewership. Today we have an exceptional chef. He can cook anything, but his real heart, I believe, an absolute specialty is in Italian food. And this is Chef Victor Paone, but Victor is...
Thank you, Joe.
Okay. Well, it's great to be here. So, Victor, we're going to do the Feast of the Seven Fish, and that's the traditional...
It's a traditional, usually 7-course, sometimes more, different types of fish that are eaten Christmas Eve.
Right.
It's more of a southern Italy, a coastal tradition, but it's where I come from in Gaeta, which is in between Naples and Rome. I mean, basically, it's a peninsula, and it's all water. So.
Right.
You know, we grew up eating octopus, eel, baccala, all kinds of seafoods. Joe.
Right,
so.
right. Yeah, and you know, not being of Italian heritage, my closest friends even today, lifelong friends, their parents used to do the Feast of the Seven Fish. Right. So for 30 years, I was at Christmas Eve, and it just went on and on and on, and it was absolutely fantastic.
So you were a little Italian, Christmas
Eve,
right,
bit,
Joe?
yes,
Excellent.
Just by injection.
It's better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely. What we want to do is, I think we're going to get started with the baccala.
Yep, Joe, we're going to make a baccala salad. Okay. Now, baccala, as you know, as some people might know, is a salted cod.
Right.
It's done in so many different ways. It's made into a salad. It's made into a pie with escarole and capers and olives. It's fried. It's baked with tomatoes. I mean, there's so many variations of this from different parts of Italy. Yeah. But today we're going to make the salad.
Okay.
All right. So basically, on mise en place, we have some olives, some baccala, onions, some hot peppers that I know you don't like too spicy, but I have to put a little in, Joe. Right. Some lemon, and we're going to put on a bit of arugula and fresh fennel.
Excellent.
All right.
Right.
Now, some people like it more spicy. Some people put celery. I mean, there's so many variations of this that basically you could do it any way you want.
Right.
I mean,
let's just talk about the salted cod. If you picked up a piece of salted cod, or say a large fillet, if somebody hit you on the head, you'd be in the hospital for a month. So you have to really soak this in cold water for 3 or 4 days to get the salt out of it, and you have to change the water.
Right, you want to change the water about twice a day, Joe.
Yeah, okay.
You know, to really flush out that salt.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't want to flush out too much salt where it's tasteless.
Right.
So there's a little balance here.
Yeah.
A little balancing act, Joe.
Okay. Well, once you've washed out you've done your balancing act and you've got to where you want it, what would be the next step?
All right now, basically, here we have 2 pieces of the salted cod.
Yeah.
All right, you want to boil it, all right?
Okay.
When you do it, you want the water to boil.
Okay.
You don't want to put it in cold water because then it absorbs too much water while it's cooking and it becomes very flush and watery.
Okay, so hot water?
Yes, you want the water boil before you put the baccala in.
Make note, Chef just gave you a great tip. Hot boiling water.
Okay, so now I want to flavor the water too. So I
Yeah.
put a little bit of lemon. And just dump it in. A little bit of parsley.
So you're
Little black
making
pepper.
you're making a court bouillon.
Right, exactly. Right. We want to place the baccala in the water.
Right.
When you ever saute or put a product in boiling water, you never want to put it this way because you can splash yourself.
Okay.
So you want to put it away from yourself.
Excellent.
Okay. Now we're going to let this boil here. Okay, this will take about 10 minutes.
All right.
We want to boil it till it starts to break apart, Joe.
Right.
Now, while we're doing that, we want to create, marinate our mixture for the actual salad.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and while you're getting that ready, I was talking to Chef about this the other day. When you boil it, you don't want it to totally fall apart in the pan. You want it to be able to flake it
Exactly.
because
right.
you want that texture when you're eating the salad.
Correct.
You know,
correct.
a little bit of chunk.
All
Okay.
right, Joe, can you grab me some celery right down here? All right. So I'm just going to cut the celery real thin. Now again, some regions put celery, some don't put celery, some put garlic, some don't put garlic. It's up to you. Basically, it's, you know, your liking, Joe.
Right, right. Yeah, and this is something I try to bring people's awareness to. In cooking, it's really an art form, but everything is TT, to taste, okay? So, you know, use your own inspiration. It's supposed to be a creative process. And there certainly are techniques and different methods of preparing foods. But when that taste profile that you know your family, your friends would like, that's what you want to bring your meal to. So what are you doing now,
So
Chef?
right now, Joe, I put some celery, some Italian parsley.
Excellent,
Okay.
yeah.
I put some olives, and I'm going to put some spicy peppers in.
Oh,
just because I
beautiful.
like it.
Yeah. The first time we did a show, I don't know if you ever seen the long, skinny, red, dried peppers. And he's throwing them in. I'm saying, Victor, please, you're killing me here. And he says, oh, yeah, it's okay. Kept throwing them in.
I want to point out, he filled mise en place. This is how much red pepper you gave me. Last time, I guess I overdid it, right?
Right, yes,
I'm on a
yes.
budget, Joe.
You're on a budget. Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
So now we have the parsley, the olives. I cut the olives. Some people put them whole. Some people
Yeah.
put it half.
Right.
I like to use a Kalamata olive, a real, you know, something
Nice,
that has
yeah.
some taste. And I put the pepper julienne cut, which is a thin slice.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that aside.
Yeah.
I'm going to squeeze some lemon into it.
Now, this is the dressing for your salad.
No, this is for the baccala.
Oh, the baccala?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
What I like
Okay,
to
sorry.
do is I like to mix all the ingredients, then add the baccala, so it's
Yeah.
incorporate more
Right,
evenly.
okay, and then it'll coat better as
Exactly.
well. Okay.
I like a little more lemon, Joe. Is that okay?
Lemon I like. I like a little red pepper.
I'm going to put a little extra virgin olive oil. Okay, we're going to mix that up. So now that right there is mise en place. Okay, now we're going to check the baccala. As you can see, Joe, it's starting to flake apart a little bit.
Right,
That's
right.
how you want it to be.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
So now I'm going to pull this out. You want it to cool?
Now, quick question. Would you ever add capers to this, particularly where...
Absolutely.
You would?
Absolutely, I would.
Okay.
Definitely.
So this is a hot pepper sodium high? Is this what, in English, is that what you...
Something like that, Joe.
Right, okay.
So, thanks to TV magic here, it already cooled off. What do you think, that, Joe?
Unbelievable.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
It even changed shape a little bit.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
Magic. That's a sign of a good chef.
So now, so now we're just going to flake it apart. You don't want to mush it up.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to break it up too much.
Right, you want some
You want
chunk
some
in there.
texture to it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So what you're doing now is actually making sure everything's coated.
Exactly.
Okay, super.
I'm going to put a little black pepper, Joe.
Yeah.
What do you think? You need a
Yeah,
little
why
bit,
not?
Right?
Yeah, kill the co-host.
All right. Now, we could keep that aside. Now,
Yeah.
one great thing about this is that when you're making the baccala salad, you can actually make it a day or two ahead of time.
Right.
And actually tastes better
Yeah,
because it absorbs all the lemon, olive oil, and all the flavors.
right.
So now, what we're going to do here.
Yeah. Now, you done with this?
Yes, I am, Joe.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to put a little baby arugula. I'm going to put a little bit of salad with some arugula and fresh fennel.
Is that mine?
Okay.
And Italians call this finocchio.
Yes. You want to peel the outer leaves out?
Yeah.
Okay, now traditionally at dessert,
Yeah.
Italians don't do a real dessert kind of course, let's say.
Right.
They have a little bit of sweets at the end, but they also have fruit and salad at the end.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll cut this actually in wedges. We'll set a plate with some extra virgin olive oil and salt. And we'll
Right.
dip that, and that's part of it.
And they say it's good for digestion. At least that's what-
Absolutely.
yeah, and also, if you've never had it, it has a licorice taste to it, a very mild licorice taste.
You cut it thin.
Yeah.
Mix it in. This I'll put a little bit of salt, but not too much.
Right.
Okay. A little bit of lemon. And some more olive oil.
Okay.
Got to have olive oil, Joe,
Right.
right?
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, in using different types of oils for cooking, I like to use EVOO, but it has a low smoke point. So if you're not careful, it's going to burn quicker than a canola oil would, for instance. But I like it because I think it adds flavor to the finished dish.
Absolutely, Joe. I'm going to grab this plate right here.
Okay.
Where is the... Right, so I want to put a little bit of this on the bottom.
Okay. And that's the arugula
And the fennel.
and the fennel. Excellent.
I'm going to take it. And I'll put it right on top.
Very nice.
You want to get all the olives and stuff inside.
Yeah.
Then what I'll do is I'll take some of this.
The
I'll take a couple slices of lemon. I'll garnish it something like that.
yeah.
And I'll just take a fennel leaf like that to garnish it.
Very nice. Yeah, and you know, finishing and plating, it really can be an art form, and we eat with our eyes first, at least that's the saying. So, you know, this looks excellent right now.
Thank you, Joe.
And I hear the crowd grumbling here, and so if they start moving towards us, there's the door.
That's a
down
good
the
sign
line.
though, right, Joe?
Yeah, it is. Throw the plate at them, and then we'll run.
So now we're going to make the crab cake, Joe.
Excellent.
Okay? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, chef. The next product we're going to make.
It's crab cake.
Ah, sweet. Everybody loves crab cake.
I love them, Joe.
Yeah. Now, on the crab cake, you use lump crab cake.
Yeah, you can use lump. I mean, you don't have to buy the premium crab meat. I mean, as long as it's good quality, you don't need the big chunks because
Right.
you're going to break it up a little bit.
Right.
I use the larger chunks when I use for a salad, so I can see the actual chunks of
Chunks, okay.
crab meat in it.
Right.
Okay. I mean, you can use it, but
Yeah.
you know, you don't really have to.
Right. Okay. And there are some other ingredients mixed in there, so you're going
Absolutely.
to get some texture from the other ingredients as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joe.
And you're using peppers.
I'm going to use some different colored peppers.
Yeah.
Now, again, you can use any type of seasoning you want.
Right.
Some people use, you know, an Old Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do this any way you want.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Right. I mean, I've had it with capers and olives in them. I mean,
Really?
everything. And you know, if you're trying to impress guests, if they don't like it, it's kind of too bad. You're cooking, so you do what you want, right?
Right.
I mean, that's how I do it. You know, you don't have to eat at my house. I mean, you know. Well, of course, I'd accommodate you, Joe,
Thank you
because
very
then
much.
I'll never hear the
Right.
end of it as long as I
Right.
live.
That's right.
So, So I'm going to put a little butter, okay? Now, one thing to keep in mind, if it's cooking too fast, all you do is take it off the fire.
Thank you for
That's
saying
it.
that.
So, you know,
Right. Yeah, and that's, you've heard us talk about this on the show before. If things aren't working out the way they're supposed to, take that pan right off. Let it come down in temperature a little bit. Especially with working with butter, you don't want it to brown. It has a very low smoke heat, so you don't want that to burn. And we only use unsalted butter in cooking.
Okay, so I have a little bit of onions. I'm going to add the onions first, and the reason for that is that when you cook with onions, garlic, scallions, leek, you want the acid to cook out of it.
Right.
Okay, so there's a couple rules. You cook it on a dry heat, which is a saute. You never boil it because the acid doesn't come out of it.
Okay.
And you get that aftertaste. You know when you have that agita after eating raw
Yes.
garlic, you know, where you need
Yeah.
a box of Tums?
Yeah.
That's what that's from, okay?
I like the red hot pepper flakes if there's too much. You get the agita plus the burning.
It never happened to me, Joe. I
Oh,
don't know
there
what
you
you're
go.
talking
Okay. Chef did just give you a great tip. You want to get the...
You want to cook the acid out of it. So
it's a-
I'm going to add that first and let all the acid evaporate. Then
Excellent.
I'm going to add the peppers, which you already cut for me, Joe, and
Thank
they're
you.
perfect, I
Oh,
must say.
thank you.
Awesome.
We call that, from the Mass Commission for the Blind, I cut those so perfectly because I was brailing them. So I knew what I was doing.
So now, once you cook the acid out, they'll get a little translucent or
Yeah.
a little golden.
Great.
I'm going to add the peppers in and the onions.
Excellent.
I use red, green, yellow. I mean, it's, you know, a little flavor. And you just want to cook through them. You don't want them to become too mushy because
Mushy,
you want them
right.
to hold a little texture.
Yeah, you want that texture, right.
This is only about a minute.
Excellent.
Once you saute them, you want to put them in a small bowl to cool, okay?
Okay.
But, again, TV magic.
All right.
They're already cold, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay?
Very good.
Oh, wait, let's do this. So,
Yeah, let me get a towel there.
so this is what they look like when they're cool.
Excellent. You did a beautiful thing over there.
Thank you, Joe.
That's
Thank
all
you.
right.
Again, when I mix crab cakes or incorporate any salad, I'll mix the ingredients first.
Yeah,
Okay. A little bit of mayonnaise.
right. You want
I'm going to get some spoon. I'm going to mix
Okay.
this up.
Yeah,
I'm going to put a little parsley in there too. Gives it a nice little fresh
yeah,
flavor.
yeah. Now, you're tearing the parsley, correct, or you're going to chop
Well, I'm going to chop it for this because I want it smaller.
Yeah.
But you actually get better flavor out of it when you rip it.
it? Okay.
Because when you cut it, the cells stay intact. You cut through it, but the cells stay more intact. When you rip it, you actually crush the cells, and the flavor comes out better.
Okay.
Gives
so-
it more of a fresh flavor.
Yeah, so Chef just gave you a great tip. You know, he's cutting now, but a lot of times he'll tear the parsley and it crushes the cells so that you get, you know, more fresh flavor. Did I say that right?
Perfect, Joe. All right, so I'm going to mix it in.
Okay.
Put a little salt, a little pepper. And I'm going to put the crab meat in.
Okay, I'll get your saute pan.
Yeah, please, Joe. Yes, it is. It is Maryland mode.
So you can see that this being stirred, it is breaking it up so that you're not going to get big, you know, chunks. So don't be afraid to get a lesser quality. Just make sure it's fresh. And one thing about Italian cooking that I love, fresh, fresh, fresh. And really, it changes the flavor profile from buying stuff that's not fresh.
Right. All right, I'm going to add a little breadcrumb into it, okay? What that does is that binds it, so
Okay.
it won't fall apart on you. And I'm going to save some because we're going to coat it when we fry it.
All right.
You don't want it to be too dry,
Yeah.
but you also don't want it to fall apart.
Apart, right. And I'm guessing those breadcrumbs will capture some of the liquid in
Absolutely.
there, so,
Absolutely. Now, the best way to do this is that once you make them, you don't want to cook it right away because the bread didn't absorb the moisture and it will crumble on you.
right,
Okay?
okay,
The
yeah.
best way is to actually make them about an hour or two before you're going to cook them.
And let them set.
You let them set.
That's a great tip because, I was making some earlier, and I did not let them set long enough, and the first couple of them didn't dry, and they were breaking up in the pan.
Right.
So I had to eat the scraps. I didn't want to do it, but
8 of them, Joe? 8 of
yeah,
them.
I made the best of it. Yeah,
Can you pass me some gloves, please, Joe?
certainly.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I want to take a little more breadcrumbs, I think.
All right. Now, once you get the oil in the pan, you want that pretty hot, I would think, just to sear that,
I use it at about medium heat so it sears through because you also want to cook through it without burning it.
burning it. Okay. And with the breadcrumbs, you can burn it very easily as well as the crab,
Right.
right?
So I'm going to make a couple, all right? This one's yours, Joe?
Is that the big
All
one?
right, this one's mine,
Oh,
okay?
you got the big one. Okay.
I don't know if you like them, so I don't
No,
want you,
that, you did, yeah, no, you're perfect.
So you want to make them any size?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done these as appetizers at parties.
Yeah.
Where, you'll make them like a quarter.
Right.
Then I've done them as appetizers where, they'll be bigger than this
Yeah.
on a plate. Right?
Excellent.
What I do is I ball them out, make them
Yeah.
round, pack them down,
Yeah.
then I squish them down a little bit, making
Okay.
sure that they don't break down.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, and that is actually a good tip. He just said that he makes a ball, then he pushes them down, and then he'll know if it's dry enough because it won't fall apart. It'll stay together. So that's a good tip.
So-
Actually, it's a great tip, Chef.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, you're full of compliments today.
Well,
You're being nice to me.
yeah, we're really pleased you're here, Chef.
Right?
Right, right.
So I shouldn't get used to this, huh, Joe?
Well, no, until you come back again to cook, it'll be all, we'll give you the preferred treatment.
All right. So now I'm going to let these sit, okay, for an hour before I cook them, so the breadcrumbs incorporate and absorb the flavors. And they'll sit.
Excellent, very good. Okay,
That
looks
one's
great.
yours, Joe. See those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
So now we let them sit. See, you could tell it's a little firmer now.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to heat up some butter.
You're gonna cook them in the butter or oil?
I'm going to cook them in butter because I have extra virgin, and extra virgin's a little bit too strong. If you cook it in oil, you want to use a soybean oil or something
Yeah,
lighter.
okay. So Chef just gave you a tip. Because the olive oil is a little bit stronger in flavor, you want to get something like
A little milder.
a milder. Like, a canola has no flavor of its own.
Absolutely.
So, and I want you to know, in Italian cuisine with fish, no cheese. I always ask the Italian chefs, what kind of cheese you using? Hey, what are you, nuts over here? We don't use. They want, if it's a good quality fish, that's what you want to taste. You don't want it buried under cheese. Me, if they're not looking, I might put a little cheese on it, but that's okay.
What kind of cheese, Joe?
I like either Parmesan or Romano.
I was only kidding. You really put cheese on it, Joe?
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. No, I was just going along with the joke.
Yeah, okay.
And, we're using kosher salt, but the 3 Italian chefs, Victor being one of them, if they're cooking fish, they prefer to use a sea salt.
Right.
And, yeah,
It has a better mineral flavor.
right. And it's from the sea, so they're keeping that continuity and flavor. Sal Ferragamo from Strega, yeah, the corporate chef, he and Victor started off in the food business baking bread together, right? At
Right,
your
about
uncle's
25,
bakery.
30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, so used to make the Scala?
About 900 a night, Joe.
Wow, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So now we're just going to let it sit. It's at medium heat.
Yeah.
Okay? As you can see, it really firmed up. It's
Right.
not going to break up.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, what I'll do when I do a good amount of crab cakes is that I'll sear them, and I'll put them in a sheet pan and then put them in
put
the
it
oven
in the oven to reheat,
to reheat
And
so
it
that they'll
helps-
cook through, they'll set, and then
Yeah.
you can place them on the plate.
which is great. Okay.
What I do, there's so many variations of sauce and everything else you can do. I like to have a good quality crab. I don't like to hide my food with sauces and heavy ingredients because I invest so much time in the quality of the crab or the fish. I really want to use ingredients to enhance the flavor of the fish, not to mask it. Okay? And that's what Italian cooking is about. If you go through regions, for instance, the best mozzarella in the world literally is made in Battipaglia. It's a little town at the top of a mountain. It's the best. It's awesome. Whenever I go there, I eat about 1 kilo a day. I mean, because I have to, right? Taste it. But, you go the next town over, the mozzarella is horrible, but they have a great olive. So it's very individual for the region or the town or where you are. And, that's what I like about, the Italian culture. So, brings me back that they only use the fresh ingredients of their regions. So, that's why you use lemon and olive oil to really bring out these flavors and really maximize.
And I know Chef said this because when his mother watches the show, she won't give him a backhander for saying something foolish.
She always criticizes I don't smile enough, Joe.
Right. Victor and I stay in touch, and he's a great guy. And Victor keeps telling me his mother is always correcting him on his technique and how he cooks.
Take this.
Excellent. Beautiful.
There you have it.
Oh, the aromas are wonderful.
Again, I'm going to serve it with a little piece of lemon, just
Yeah.
to squeeze on it. Okay.
So in an Italian feast, for instance,
Right.
we're going to have multiple items that you're going to eat. Yeah. And
Excuse me, Joe.
it's really about not just sitting there and grabbing the bowl of mashed potatoes or the chicken or whatever. It's about taking your time, enjoying each other's company, talking. Your mother's yelling at you. Didn't you learn anything
Never,
from me?
Joe. Joe,
Right.
never.
And again, the presentation looks fabulous on this as well.
One time I tried to explain to her, just coming out of culinary school, why a tomato's a fruit, not a vegetable. She's looking at me like I spent all that money and you're telling me a tomato's a vegetable?
Yeah.
Like. So now we're going to do shrimp scampi, Joe.
The shrimp
We're going to finish
scampi.
off the antipasta.
Okay. Okay, Chef. We have 2 more courses. Actually, we have one other item for the antipasti, which is
Shrimp scampi, Joe.
which is great. And then we're going to do the clams.
A linguini vongole. Linguini
Vongole.
clam.
There you go. All right. Why don't we get rolling here?
All right, we're going to start off with the shrimp.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just a simple shrimp scampi with some garlic,
Yeah.
olive oil, some lemon, some parsley, real simple. Okay?
Now, are you putting red pepper flakes in there?
No, that's for the linguini vongole, Joe. We're going to keep it light, all right? Now, when you saute, you want to add the oil when the pan's hot,
Okay.
because when you heat the oil with the pan, it breaks down the oil faster.
Right. Great
Okay.
tip. We have not had a chef give us that tip
Really?
before, but that's very good.
Okay.
You've learned your job well.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Okay.
So now, when I saute, I want the oil to be hot, so I just flash it.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
You don't want it to sit and cook too long because it dries out, overcooks, and you just want to sear it.
You're talking about shrimp specifically?
Yeah,
or-
anything, even
Anything.
veal, chicken, whatever I'm going to cook, all right?
Okay.
So now, what I do is when I cook clams, linguini clams, scampi, when I add garlic, I put the whole garlic in, I crush it, put it in, flavor the oil, then take it out.
Take it out, right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because, there's a misconception of Italian food has a lot of garlic everywhere.
Right.
It really doesn't. It's a very, very well-balanced cuisine.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah,
So
it-
peel the garlic.
Right.
Just smash it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because on each show I talk about this when there's garlic being used. It's an ingredient. Don't make it the dish.
Right.
Unless you're from Gaeta and you eat cloves of garlic like an apple, right?
Joe.
Sorry, sorry.
Joe, you're offending me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
So now, when you cook garlic, again, like when you do the onions, you want to cook the acid out of it.
Yeah,
Okay, you don't want to leave it in there because then you get agita, Joe.
Ah.
You need Maalox, Tums,
Yeah.
Prilosec, you know,
Right.
that stuff, right?
yeah.
And you also don't want to burn it because then it becomes bitter. So I flavor the oil, and I take that out.
Yeah,
Then I'll take the shrimp. That's pretty good.
right,
As you can see, there's a reaction to it. It isn't just sitting in the oil.
right.
Okay. When I season as you go.
Yeah.
Which means I add shrimp, I put some salt in. I add sauce, I put the salt in.
Right,
Okay. Now, as you can see, they're pretty much almost cooked.
right.
I'm going to add some chopped parsley. Actually, I'm going to rip it.
Okay. And this will help build flavor.
Exactly. I'm going to squeeze a lemon. So now I'm going to add a little bit of white wine. Okay? What the white wine does, it deglazes it. It takes all the flavor off the pan and brings it into the sauce.
Right,
Now, when you cook with alcohol, you want the alcohol to evaporate. You want the flavor from the wine, not the alcohol in the dish.
right, right.
Okay?
And you can pretty much tell when that alcohol is evaporated just by doing a simple
Little bit
sniff
more,
test.
Joe.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, now it's pretty much cooked. It's finished.
Wow.
So what I do is I add a little bit of butter,
Okay,
take it off, and this is what you call creaming the sauce.
Yeah.
This pulls it together and enriches it a little bit.
yeah. And it gives
Okay.
it a nice shine as well for the
Exactly.
finished product.
Because if you leave the butter there, it separates and you have a greasy sauce, an oily sauce.
Right.
Okay?
Oh my God, does this smell good, Chef?
Thank you. Joe, a little piece of bread. Can you pass me some
Okay.
bread?
Yeah.
Now, if you make a little more sauce, you can add pasta to it and you have a shrimp scampi. You can add tomato to it and you make it macchiato, which in Italian means stained. In Naples, when they make linguini clams, they make it stained with tomatoes. They don't make it a heavy, rich tomato sauce. So with this bread, you could toast it,
Grill it.
grill it, anything you want. Right now, I'm just going to put it on there.
Yeah. Oh, this is fabulous, Chef.
You cook it with the shell on the tail?
Yeah, I just put it on. My favorite is in Maine. They come in with the Maine shrimps, the red shrimps. They're in for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I cook it with the whole shell in it. The flavor's spectacular. I mean, I put the head in there, I put the real shrimp in there.
And part of your sauce is coming from the shrimp, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of moisture there.
There you have it.
This looks absolutely fabulous, Chef.
Thank you.
I'm glad you left.
Thank you. So again, right now, we have our water boiling. Okay. We're going to heat up the saute pan,
Yeah,
of course, before we add the oil. We have our vongole, our garlic, parsley, salt, and your red pepper. I think it's 1 seed. All right. Again, I'm going to prep the garlic.
yeah.
Just smash it down. If it's too thick, just cut it in half and then smash it down.
We just want to get the oil out of there, then cook
Exactly.
off the gas, and then you're going to discard that, correct?
Exactly, Joe. Now, you don't have to throw that garlic away. I mean, you could spread it on some bread and use it. You could use it in mashed potato. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Again, now Chef is adding the oil when the pan is hot, which is a great tip. And nobody has talked about that before, so we're going to let you come back.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
Yeah, that's how we are.
So I'm going to put the garlic in. Again, I'm going to flavor it. We're going to make this aglio olio, right?
Yeah. And that means,
Garlic and oil.
there you go.
Now the clam we're using is called a Manila clam. In Italy, it's called avongola verace. All right, this is the type of clam they use in Italy. It's a little bit smaller. There's no clams in Italy this big. I mean, they fished them all out. So this dish literally will take 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, I'll start this. I'll mise en place everything. Start this when I drop the pasta in. It'll cook that quick.
That
these
quickly,
clams.
wow.
Okay.
Well, I had these flown over this morning for you, Chef, so I wanted you,
Where Capri? Where were they?
yeah, something like that. Okay, good.
All right, the garlic's getting its golden color. It's flavoring the oil.
Yeah, and again, Chef did tell you, which we talk about pretty much on every show, golden. Once it's golden, take it out, because if it goes any further, it's going to ruin the dish. It'll be very bitter, and nobody will want to eat it.
Now, when you take the garlic out, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, add the clam. Season them up. Now you want to saute the clam because, believe it or not, the shell does have flavor in it. It has a lot of minerals, it has a lot of calcium. I mean, it actually adds to the dish. I'm going to put a little more oil, Joe. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
A little oil is good, yeah? Let's break this in. A little bit of spice. Just a little, Joe.
Okay.
Joe.
Hey. So as you're cooking these, you're looking for these, they're pretty much done when they're open, correct?
Exactly, exactly. They'll all pop on you.
Yeah,
See, they're already starting to pop?
yeah. Everything smells fantastic, I gotta tell you, Chef.
A little bit of vino.
Okay.
White wine, a dry white wine.
You know, when Chef and I were talking about what I wanted to have him make, I said, now, do you want white wine? He says, no, red wine.
I didn't say.
You did, but no, let me finish the story.
Joe Maronami.
And I'm saying to myself, he says, I got to call you right back. And I'm saying, all day long, red wine. Then I said, he's tested me. I talked to him at the end of the day. He said, I never said red wine. Of course, he had state inspectors and all
I
that.
had state inspector with me for 9 hours. Yeah. So now they're starting to open up.
Yeah,
All right.
smells fabulous.
You don't
Chef.
want to overcook them. You don't want to let them, because then they dry out and they don't taste like a whole lot.
Yeah. Okay, you want the pasta or?
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Let these open up a little bit more. So now, Joe, the clams are open, okay? We're going to put some pasta in.
Okay,
Normally, this would be cooked fresh,
yeah,
okay? So we're just going to put that in, just to heat it up.
right.
Just linguini or what?
Yeah, linguine,
Linguini, yeah.
Flat mouth.
right. So now I had a little strainer here, Joe, right here.
All right, now, a quick question on the clam, Chef. Before you throw those in the pan, what are you looking for to be sure that they're not dead?
I just want them to open up. One thing with clams that you kind of have to be careful of, and you'll notice this when you're washing them, is mudders. They're the dead clams that are full of dirt. That's why you really want to rinse them and look at them before you cook, because it's been plenty of times I've gone and cooked the clams. I'll cook it for 10 people, and all of a sudden one opens up with mud, and it's over. So you really have to be careful with that, okay? So now I'll take the linguine, and I'll put it in here. And I'll actually saute the clams with the linguine with the sauce. Because one thing you have to realize is that pasta It cooks with heat, though it actually cooks through water absorption. It's basically a sponge, okay? So now, misconception, when people pre-cook pasta, they put cold water in it. You're not supposed to put cold water in it. You're supposed to drain it and put it in a sheet pan. Because if you put cold water in it, it still absorbs pasta, and it's just like leaving it in the water, okay? So now, right now, the linguine, what it's doing is that it's absorbing the flavor. And a little secret is to actually save some of the pasta water and take the starch on top and put it right on top, right into the sauce. Because the starch will actually pull the sauce together.
Now, we pre-cooked this pasta, so when you're cooking an Italian dish like this where there's a pasta, you always want to finish that pasta in that sauce to get a nice even coat. So I always recommend pre-al dente, because you're going to finish that pasta again in this hot sauce. Oh my God, does this smell good?
That's enough for me. What are you doing?
Very good.
Hang on. Again, at the end, I'm going to finish it with some fresh parsley. And you can really smell the fresh parsley with the acid from the garlic and
Oh,
everything.
God.
It's pretty good.
Well, Chef, as usual, you've done a great job.
Thank you, Joe. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
So just keep in mind that this show is designed to be instructional. You've heard a lot of chef tips. And if you want to rewatch this show and get the recipes, if you go to the Chef's Table Series.tv website, you will see this show and you can print the recipes, and then you can cook along with the chef. If you have an iPad or a laptop, bring it in the kitchen so that you can follow the great technique that the chef just demonstrated. And we do want to thank our good friends at the Sons of Italy Lodge in Roslindale for hosting us this evening. And this was show 1, okay, of the Feast of the Seven Fish. Show 2 will be coming up very shortly, and we're going to add 3 other fish to at least demonstrate 7 fish. Right. So again, thank you, Chef.
Thank you, Joe. It
And
was a
we want to
pleasure,
thank
as
our
always.
audience for being here.
Thank you.
And look for us, please, on the website. Thank you.
Hey, John-Paul, how are you?
I'm good. How's it going, Carol?
Good. Put my purse away. So I'm looking for some wine recommendations. We had Executive Chef Victor Paone. He was cooking with Joe Murphy, my co-host, and they were starting the Feast of the Seven Fishes. So he made 4 fish dishes. He made crab cake, bakala, I always mispronounce that, linguini with clam sauce, and shrimp scampi. So I was wondering if you had like 1 or 2 wines to recommend for those dishes.
Yeah, I think I have 2 whites that would work really well,
Oh,
for all
perfect.
4 of those. But one of them's right here in the wine station.
Oh yeah, this is new, huh?
Yeah, it's complimentary to any of our customers who want
Yep.
to try any of the wines in here. It's a great opportunity for people to try something before they buy it.
Oh,
So,
perfect. That must be very popular.
yeah, it's a good educational tool and good way to kind of try different things.
Perfect. Awesome. So which one are we going to try?
It's an Albarino from Ria Spicious, so northern Spain. A lot of people don't think of Spain for white wines, but in the north of Spain, it's quite cool and quite wet. Basically a more maritime climate, and it's really a good place to grow grapes to make crisp, mineral, high-acid white wines.
Oh.
So perfect for seafood. In
Perfect.
fact, it's exactly what Albarino is meant for.
Awesome. So let's try it.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's give it a try.
Yes. Smells nice. Twirl, twirl.
Yeah, like any good albarino, it's very, very pretty kind of aromatics, lots of citrus, slightly floral kind of element to
Oh,
it.
definitely.
And also it's got a ripe, almost sort of tropical aroma, which is really nice. And there's evidence here that there was some aging on the lees probably. So it's got this slightly toasty, sort of yeasty aroma. Not a fresh yeasty aroma, but almost slightly bready, toasty thing, almost like a champagne.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but it's there. But mostly you're getting all that fruit. And when you taste it, you'll see there's lots of acidity, which is going to make, which is going to cut through all that fruit and the kind of richness that we're smelling here.
Right.
And go really well with hopefully all of those
All
dishes.
those dishes, yes, definitely. Hey, let's taste. Oh, yes. Acidity, definitely. Floral.
Yeah, the floral definitely does carry through on the finish. Got this nice kind of peachy thing and that citrusy acidity. It should match really well with some of the richer dishes as well as some of the lighter dishes.
Yep, like the crab cake. Yep, exactly.
Yep. But that's what this wine was meant for. That region in Spain just has a bounty of seafood, and they know how to make a wine to go with it.
Oh, perfect. And then you said you have another wine to go with the dishes as well.
Yes, there's a wine from Italy
okay.
that we should check out. You want to
Yeah.
go take a look?
Yeah, let's go take a
Okay.
look.
So this is the second wine I was talking about. It's from Italy, which should be nice for the Feast of Seven Fishes.
Yep,
Since
definitely.
it's an Italian
Celebration
tradition.
on Christmas Eve. Yep.
Yeah.
Big time tradition.
So the region is Lugana.
Yep.
The producer is Otella. Comes from northern Italy.
Yep.
It's right next to Lake Garda, which is a popular tourist destination. But also there's a lot of good wines grown right there. The best soils are the result of glacial deposits, and that's where this is grown. So this wine is a bit lighter, maybe than the last one we had.
Then the Spanish one. Yep.
Yeah. So although the Albarino is not really rich, it might be big enough, kind of rich enough fruity tropical flavors to appeal to a Chardonnay drinker. Whereas this is going to be somewhat lighter. This would be more like an unoaked Chardonnay, really light, really crisp, very subtle.
Oh, okay.
Maybe somewhat like a Muscadet, or maybe more to appeal to a Sauvignon Blanc drinker.
So is it sweet? Would you call it sweet or is it more?
It's not sweet. They're
No?
both dry, and I think
Dry,
for
okay.
both of the for all of those dishes, you want something on the drier side.
Yeah, you don't want anything sweet.
Yeah, well, you could go sweet, but for the more complementary pairing, something dry I think would be appropriate.
Oh, perfect.
But yeah, this should be perfect. It'll definitely be versatile with all those.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
those
that's good to
seafood
know.
Food dishes. So,
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Well, John-Paul, thanks for having me in your store and giving us these great recommendations for the 4 fishes that Victor Paone made with Joe Murphy on the show. And, thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming to the store.
Perfect.
It's great to have you.
Hi folks, Steve LaCount, chef owner of Chiara Bistro in Westwood, coming at you with this week's Chef's Tip. This week I'd like to talk a little bit about knife safety and cutting safety, and that's why I have a carrot and a parsnip in front of me. Basically, I'm going to peel this really quickly and then show you a few different cuts and how you can do them in a safe manner. And the reason I picked both of these vegetables is because of their shape. And most home cooks who don't have professional knife skills, when they do cut their finger, it's usually slicing a round vegetable of some sort, like a carrot or a parsnip, which makes sense. I mean, they roll around on the cutting board, and next thing you know, your knife is not on the carrot, it's on your finger. So we'll just put that aside a little bit. I'm using a typical French knife here for this. Important to have a very sharp knife when you're doing a firm vegetable like that. So I want to cut the ends off of these, and then we'll show you a few different cuts. And I'm going to start with, now, to eliminate most of the danger, one of the best things you can do is just take a little slice off of that. Now you've got a flat surface to rest that on. So if you want carrot wheels for something, you've got a little bit of leverage there instead of that thing rolling around on you.
If I want to cut carrot sticks, I still have that leverage because it's flat, and I can do things like that and then just pile them on top of each other and cut my carrot sticks. Let's say I want to finely dice that for some reason. I'm going to do the same thing. Take a little piece off. Let that flat side. I'm just going to cut these thinner now. And then stack a couple of them together. And notice the motion. I'm not cutting down like this, which I see a lot of home cooks doing. It's actually a rocking motion. I'm starting at the front part of this knife and I'm pushing forward like that. Okay? As I'm doing, I'm tucking these 4 fingers, bending them so my knuckles are resting against the blade of that knife. And that's what's keeping me from cutting the tips of my left fingers off. So once I have them finely diced like that, I just turn that sideways, and now I'll go a little bit faster, and you can still see that rocking motion. Again, I'm not doing this, I'm pushing forward, and then I'm moving the knife sideways and doing it again, sideways, doing it again. And it's that easy to dice things that small. And let me just get these shavings out of the way. And I'm going to show you a bias cut next. Again, we have the carrot sticks, a couple of rounds, the fine dice, and I'll take this parsnip. We'll do a bias cut. So I'm going to notice I'm just putting that. I'm using that tip of that knife right there. You should be able to see that pretty well. And I'm just pushing down and then pushing down, and that's my nice flat surface. And I'm going to angle cut this, okay, into pieces like that, a nice bias cut. This looks nice in stews and, you know, maybe with a roast chicken or something like that. But again, using that same, I just have to pick the knife up a little higher because of the height of the parsnip itself, but I'm still using that same rocking motion all the way through to the end of this. So there you go. Nice, lots of shapes, all of it done very quickly, but most importantly, very safely, and all my fingers are intact. Steve LaCount with this week's Chef's Tip of the Week.
Then I'll take the shrimp. As you can see, there's a reaction to it. It isn't just sitting in the oil.
Right.
When to season, I season as you go,
Yeah.
which means I add shrimp, I put some salt in. I add sauce, I put the salt in.
Right.
Now, as you can see, they're pretty much almost cooked.
Right.
I'm gonna add some chopped parsley. Actually, I'm gonna rip it.
Okay. And this will help build flavor.
Exactly. Let's leave it alone.
The Chef's Table series is shooting on location in cities and towns across Massachusetts. If you would like to suggest your favorite restaurant or attend a live taping of the show, please visit thechefstableseries.tv.